Hey everybody, Night Diver 5 here. It is the 13th of January 2011. I'm going to do a small series on the Rapture because I think there's too much information to put it in one video. And on this first one, I'm going to focus on the word tribulation with a capital T and how it's a mistake to name the last 7 years the tribulation. If you look at Genesis 25, verse 23, God is talking to Rebekah, and at this time she's pregnant with Esau and Jacob, and God tells her that 2 nations are in her womb. Well, if you go down to Genesis 32, verse 28, Jacob and God have just finished wrestling with each other, and God tells Jacob that his name shall be Jacob no more, but Israel. So Israel is the nation in Rebekah's womb, one of the two. So in Jeremiah 30, verse 7, when talking about what we call the tribulation, God says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." As far as I'm aware, that is the only actual name for the last 7 years that is biblical, the time of Jacob's trouble. And why this is important is because it shows that the emphasis on these last 7 years is for the nation of Israel and not the church. In Daniel chapter 9, verses 24 through 27, Daniel is being given an explanation to the punishment that Israel as a nation is receiving. It's a 490-year period, and it's broken into 7-year groupings. We call them heptads in Greek. Some Bibles it says weeks of years, which means 7-year periods. So there are 70 7-year periods. In verse 26, if you follow the math closely, you'll see that 69 of those 7-year periods pass until the Messiah is cut off, but not for himself. So 483 of those years pass, and then Christ is killed. He's put on the cross for us, and we go into what's called the time of grace. When the time of grace is over, the world will go back under the law and finish off that last 7 years. Well, the church can't go back under the law. Paul makes that clear in the book of Romans. If we went back under the law, then Christ's death would be nullified. There would be no point to it. So the church cannot go back under the law. Therefore, the church cannot go through the tribulation. And that is why calling it tribulation confuses people. What happens is people read John 16, verse 13, where Christ says, "In this world you will have tribulation." And they see, oh, well, we're supposed to have tribulation. The last 7 years is called tribulation. See, we're going through the tribulation. And that's very simplistic, and that means that they haven't looked into things deeply. But it's partially based on misnaming the tribulation with a capital T. In John 16, verse 13, tribulation has a lowercase t. That's because it is satanic. The prosecution for that tribulation is satanic. In the last 7 years, it is God's wrath. There's no point for a Christian to be in God's wrath. We've already been judged. Christ already made the payment for us. So that 7-year period should be called the time of Jacob's trouble. It is the last 7 years to finish out a 490-year punishment for the nation of Israel and is not for the church. Also, in 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 9, Paul tells us, "For God hath not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by our Lord Jesus Christ." So again, the church is raptured. If you don't like that word, do a word study or look at some of my other videos. The original word is called harpazo, and it means to snatch or violently yank out of harm's way. The church will be raptured before the tribulation, which it should really be called the time of Jacob's trouble. All right, I hope this helps clear things up, and I hope this helps you explain this to other people, because this is where I'm seeing probably the most confusion, especially amongst Christians out there right now. Please leave questions or comments. Take care.